Good. I'm Mike Hughes, and today we're going to be talking about stall vices, what causes stall vices, and how to solve your stall vices. Got into stall vices about 10 years ago. Had a good friend of mine. He had a cribbing horse. The horse was a spectacular reiner. It won just about everything it went to, all the events it went to. It was winning. But nevertheless, it was a pretty severe cribber, and the horse kept colicking, month after month. They kept rushing the horse in to the vet to treat the colic. In 1 month, the horse colicked, and even surgery wouldn't have saved that horse's life. It was already too late. And that's what got me into it. And at the time, it was just an idea. Maybe I can do this, maybe I can't, I don't know. But I was going to give it a shot. And then 7 years later, it worked. During that 7 years, I solved about 30, 35, 40 different cribbing horses that were cribbing that don't crib anymore today. At that time, we were really comfortable with the program, so we sent it out to 20 other people who had cribbing horses throughout the U.S., Canada, and other parts of the world, ranging from beginners to professional trainers, and they were able to solve the problem in their cribbing horses. So the program worked really well. We're really happy with it. It's been out for about 3 years now. And during that 3 years, again, throughout that 3 years, we have solved hundreds and hundreds of cribbing horses. And then a couple years ago, I went into weaving and stall walking, wanted to solve those problems now. And so that took a couple years, and what brings on all your stress issue, or all your cribbing, weaving, stall walking is stress. All stress is the way that the horse's body responds to the pressure from the outside world, known as fight or flight. Since horses are flight animals, they rather flee from the danger than face their danger. Unless they're trapped, then they'll fight it out. I know back where I'm from in California, we have some horses out there that got cornered by a mountain lion, cougar, and the horse killed the mountain lion because it was the only way out. So they will fight if they have to, but if they don't, they're going to flee from the danger. So the greatest danger today, or the greatest stressor today, is fear. Fear causes stress. Second is pain. Third is boredom. So we're going to do a lot of desensitizing today with this guy, teaching him how to control his stress when he becomes stressed out. Back home, I do train for the Sacramento Mounted Police, and in training their horses, those horses have to be able to handle stress. There's times those horses go into really nasty situations where there's, in the middle of a protest or a riot, where there's 20 different things or 30 different things going on around the horse at the same time. So the horses have to know how to handle the stress, and that's what we started doing with, the cribbing horses to solve their cribbing problem, weavers, stall walkers, other stall vices. And our stress management program also takes care of most of your, your ground problems, your saddle problems, buddy sour, barn sour, spooky behavior, bucking, rearing, those types of things. 99% of those things are caused from fear. Fear causes stress. So we start teaching these horses how to manage stress, meaning they can maintain control when situations, people, and events make excessive demands on them. Then you can solve most of your stall vices, all of your stall vices, and most of your ground and saddle problems today. So when I'm working with a horse, the first thing I want to know is I want to make sure the horse knows the basics, that he can go to the left, lunge right in the beginning, before I even start bringing in stuff for him to do, teach him how to control his stress. And as long as he go left and right, soft on the lunge line or a round pin, and I have the lunge line on him today because we're going to be using the lunge line attached to him during some of these exercises. Not all of us, are fortunate enough to have round pins. So in the DVDs that we have and teaching you how to solve cribbing, weaving, stall walking, teaching horses stress management, we do 99% of it on a lunge line. If you have a round pin, that just makes this a whole lot easier. Good. So I'm going to let him go around a couple more times here. Then we'll stop him, send him off to the right. Yesterday, when I was training him, the first demo with him, you can see the anxiety and the stress coming out. When I started putting a little bit of pressure on him, he did try to start biting me. He did bare his teeth. He was throwing his head up and down pretty good. He started pawing and striking out, started rearing up, and he started kicking and trying to go over the top of me. This morning, he was a lot better going through the exercises. Okay? So he's going left pretty good, so I'm going to pick up on the line. I'm going to say ho, ho. And he had a hard time going to the right yesterday. That's a little bit better. So we do this, all these desensitizing and obstacle crossing, sacking them out through the horse's natural instincts, which are his 5 senses, which is the sight, sound, smell, feel, and taste. You know, 90% of us, or all of us, you know, train the horse on sight, sound, and feel. We still have another 2 senses in there, and one of them is smell. Back home, I do train a lot of hunting horses, take a lot of horses up into the mountains, and back home we do have a lot of mountain lion, a lot of bear, wolves up in the mountains. And the first time my horse goes up there, it's not going to be the first time I want my horse to get a scent of one of the bears or the mountain lions. If it is, I'll probably be walking home. So what I do is I go down to the sportsman's warehouse where they have all the different smells of the mountain lions, of the bear, cougars, whatnot, and I'll buy it. And then when I get home, I'll put it on cotton balls and start teaching my horse that when he gets smells a mountain lion or a bear, that he's going to be all right, and he becomes desensitized to those smells. Smoke is another one that will alert the horse to danger. If he smells smoke, he knows that there's a fire nearby through his natural instinct. So we also train with that. I wanted to bring out some roadside flares with me today, but it's been too wet out here to even try to light one off and have it keep going. But we do a lot of flare training at home. The flare creates smoke, sound, forebear senses, sight, sound, smell, and feel. If the horse gets too close to the flare, you'll definitely feel it. So that's a good desensitizing. And in the DVDs that we have for stress management and solving your cribbing, weaving, stall walking problems, in the end we show you how to start adding in, you know, multiple items at one time. Some of them are stationary, some of them are moving around pretty good, and the horse starts learning how to deal with more than one thing going on at a time. You know, when I'm working with the Sacramento Mounted Police, those horses have to be able to deal with, you know, 40 to 50 things going on at the same time. So that's pretty good there. So I'm going to go ahead and stop them. Ooh. Good boy. So again, I want to make sure he can lunge, you know, left, stop, come back to the right when I'm doing these exercises. If I don't have basic control over him, there's no use in going on and trying to do anything else because I don't have control over the horse. I don't have control of which way he goes. So back in the 1990s, they I will just use this. Back in the 1990s, they actually scientifically proved when the horse drops his head that the horse automatically relaxes, and there's an endorphin release that goes to the horse's brain that relaxes the horse. And I always knew that when the horses put their heads down, they automatically relax. I just never knew why until the 1990s when they came out with it. So now when I start going through desensitizing and spook training horses, I'm always going to start teaching them how to drop their head, because I know they're going to stay calm during the process. They're not going to, you know, get all upset and start trying to run off. So when I do that, I just hold the lunge line or lead line, whichever one I'm using, and I'll just put a little bit of pressure right here. And as soon as the horse drops his head just even a little bit, I'm going to release the pressure. It's always the pressure that asks the horse to do things we want him to do. It's always the release that tells him you got the right answer. Back up. So he keeps trying to take the step forward, so if he does, I'm going to back him up, and I'll ask him to drop his head. Good boy. Back up, and drop your head. And drop your head. Good. I'm going to switch hands into the sacking out part. I'm going to turn him to the side here in a minute. Good boy. I'll start off with the folded up tarp, and I'm going to drop his head, and then start banging him, you know, bumping him with the tarp a little bit. Ask him to drop his head. Good. And this is only a piece of plastic, so it can't hurt him. So, I mean, you could start really bumping them with the tarp pretty good, and it's not going to hurt them. It's only a piece of plastic. We do this a lot with the Sacramento Mounted Police horses. The reason we do it with them is because, again, if they go into a protest, riots, things often get thrown at the horse, and when the horse sees something coming like that, they got to be, you know, can't be, you know, spooking away from it. They got to be sit there and take it. Even though this tarp isn't going to hurt the horse when it hits, but in a protest with the police horses, you know, they get rocks and whatnot thrown at them, bottles, and those do hurt. But when they hit the horse the first time, the horse is going to think nothing of it because they've gone through so much of this type of training. Good boy. So we'll work on this here for a few minutes, and we'll just keep going through the exercises. So this is causing a little, you know, stress in a lot of horses. a little bit of fear because the horse doesn't realize it's only a piece of plastic and it's not going to hurt them. You know, they're thinking it's something solid coming at them and it's going to hurt. So until they find out otherwise, you know, they'll get stressed. Again, the greatest stressor is fear. Second is pain. And you want to sit here and ask him to drop his head. Good. Drop your head. Back up. Good boy. And start going through some of this and you're sacking out. So going over the 5 sentences, or 5 senses, this is sight, sound, and feel. Good boy. So I'm not going to really worry about what he's, you know, wanting to walk forward or looking around. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And, nope. Good boy. And back up. Good. Good boy. And drop your head. Good. Nope. Drop your head. Nope. Drop your head. Good. Yeah, that's better. And then I'm going to switch sides. Good boy. And then we'll work on this side for a little bit. Good. Nope. Drop your head. Don't walk around. Good boy. And do this type of stuff again. We're just going to keep going over it. Good. Stay there. Good. If I just keep concentrating on what I'm doing, then, you know, it may not be today or tomorrow, but eventually he's going to stay more relaxed and not worry about, you know, his buddies and everything else, and he'll start concentrating more on what I'm doing. So if I just stay the same, he'll come around. If I start getting emotional upset with him, then it's just going to make the problem worse. Good boy. That's better. Good. Good for you. Good. Nope. Good boy. So this is the sacking out part. Oh. Good boy. Nope. Good. Next, after they get good at that, we start unfolding the tarp a little bit. Again, ask him to drop his head. In the beginning, you're going to go slowly with this exercise, just a little bit. And I already did this with him the first and second day, so I know he's getting pretty good. I can really start snapping the tarp. Ask him to drop his head. Don't run over me. Okay, so that stress right there that he's showing right now, where he's bobbing his head, he's baring his teeth. Good. Drop your head. Good. Nope, don't go over me. So as long as he's doing that, I'm going to keep going until he stops trying to bob his head and bare his teeth. Nope. He's a little stressed out about it, but I need to keep going. And I, you know, kind of want this emotion a little bit. If I didn't have this emotion, you know, I wouldn't be able to teach him how to control it. Good boy. Yeah. Nope. So we're just going to keep going with it. If he wants to go around in circles, that's fine, but nothing more is going to happen until he stands still, he drops his head, and he relaxes a little bit. Good boy. That's getting better. Now he's baring his teeth. That's fine. Again, that's his emotions, not mine. My emotions are perfectly fine. He's the one having a hard time with this right now, but we're going to keep going until he changes. That's all right. He can get mad. If he wants to get mad. He can't bite me. He can't strike me. He can't paw me. There we go. So, okay, so then he put his head down, and he stopped throwing his head, and he stopped, you know, baring his teeth. So I'll stop there and tell him he's a good boy. You know, that's what I wanted him to do. Good boy. And again, nope, no pawing. And there he goes again. Relax. No baring your teeth. Don't not bite me. That's all right. Keep throwing your head. I'm going to keep going. And keep the pressure on. Almost. That was close. But not quite yet. That was a little bit. Yep. That's all right. Oh, this is the stress. He's showing you, and he's showing me, he doesn't know how to control the stress at this level. So, you know, we went through doing it, you know, started off a little slow, and he was fine with that, but then we started picking up the pressure a little bit, and this is what he does. So I'm going to keep with it and have him relax right there. There again, he dropped his head, but he didn't bare his teeth. So that's good. I'll tell him, good boy, that's what I wanted you to do. And now we're going to start again and get it again. The first time we get something on horses, whether it's this type of work and the horse relaxes and accepts it, or it's a side pass or a leg yield, good boy, or a leg yield, the first time we get it, you know, we just got lucky doing it. The second time we get it, it's a coincidence. The third time we get it, you know, the horse is starting to understand what we want him to do. Nope. Good. Nope, no pawing either. So I'm going to always keep myself at a 45-degree angle from his front legs so I don't get struck or pawed while I'm doing this. You know, it's his energy. There we go. And relax. Drop your head. There you go right there. Then again, he dropped his head a little bit and he didn't paw at me. And he didn't bare his teeth. Good boy. There, he dropped his head again. Good for you. Nope. Good. Nope. Quit. Good boy. Good for you. Then we'll do it on the other side. You know, some of these exercises are going to take a while to get through. You don't get through any of them real quick. You know, there is no magic bullet. There is no 30-day fix. Some horses, yeah, I'll smelling something, but I'll still take it. You know, he didn't bare his teeth and he didn't bob his head. Good, so I'm just going to keep going now until I get it again on this side. You always do things from both sides of the horse so they understand it from both sides. Good boy. Good for you. You know, he's half upset about this, a little stressed out about this. And the other half is his buddy's down in the barn, but he's going to have to deal with his buddy being down in the barn. Nope, no pawing either. There's the baring of teeth, there's the head bobbing. Back up. And relax. Nope. Good. Good right there. Good, I'll take that. So every time he, you know, stops what he's doing and he lowers his head without baring his teeth and head bombing, but he's in a relaxed manner as I'm doing this, then he's starting to learn what I want him to do. Good, and relax. Good, that's better. We'll do it again. You know, it's not going to happen while he's moving around, so I'm just going to keep going. Let him go around me if he wants. And drop your head. Good. So those couple of the exercises I use for the Sacramento Mountain in place. Some of the others we're going to go through right now. We're going to put the horse, get him lunging again. Good boy. Yeah, move. And in the beginning, the tarp is where it's at right now. It's no big deal to most horses that the tarp is in the center of me. Most horses don't care. If they do, then I would move on to the next exercise I'm going to do until they were comfortable with it. But, you know, it's not a big deal that the tarp is here. It's just a pre-step to the next exercise. And again, all these exercises they're doing is teaching them how to control stress. You know, he still has some anxiety, stress issues going on, and he, you know, even though, you know, he's not a cribber, he still has a lot of stress and anxiety. And a lot of these exercises that we're doing, you know, you could do during your warm-up. Each day you're working your horses. You could use these exercises, you know, in our DVDs we show you how to do a lot of them under saddle that you could do in your, while you're warming up your horses under saddle. Good boy. Alright, so next I'm going to go ahead and stop him. Oh, right there. And I will never attach anything to the tarp that I'm lunging the horse with, because if he did rip away from me, he was able to rip away, he'd take the tarp with him, and I'd be in trouble, because then he's going to go running blind and probably check out and never come back. So in the beginning, I'm going to hold the tarp right here with my thumb. As the horse gets better, I can go ahead and release the tarp. And now the tarp's going to fly up in the air. Good. And we've been doing this with them, so that's why I went a little bit faster. Some horses, again, accept this real quick. Others don't accept it as fast. Good boy. Yeah. Come on. Get out there. Good boy. Good. If he was a kicking horse, I can start getting him out of kicking by letting that tarp get right next to his hind legs. After doing this real well, you can start adding in more pressure. You know, some things come out of nowhere, and if I was to take this and start hitting the tarp with it, you know, they need to start getting used to that too, because we're just adding in more pressure now. And this he's been really good about. The thing he has a hard time with is the exercise we were doing with him, which was waving the tarp by his side. He had a hard time with that one. This you can also do in your everyday warm-up work with your horses. And now if the tarp comes off, you know, no big deal. What you're going to do is you're going to stop the horse, hook, right there. And all you're going to do is go ahead and pick the tarp back up, and you're going to put it back over the lunge line and start again. In doing this exercise, you always want the lunge line heavier than the tarp. That way if something came, you know, something happened, for one, if something happened and I dropped the lunge line, all the lunge line is going to do is going to slide through the tarp, no big deal. Back up. Two, if it's a real windy day and you got a really light, lunge line, the wind can blow the tarp up the whip. Good. And then good. Shorten this up a little bit. Good boy. So you can practice this. Good boy. Good. Don't let them go around like this for a little bit. I do a lot of this with the Sacramento Mounted Police horses, getting stuff like this used, getting the horses used to stuff like this. Good boy. Good. So now it's tickling the sides a little bit as it comes up. So again, you're dealing with sight, sound, and feel. You know, every animal in the horses, dogs, cats, people have all five senses. They all can see, sound, feel, smell, and taste. Everybody was born with it.
I dropped it.
Yeah, right there.
So he's going to go watch this video and he's just going to view it.
Also, you can do a lot of this training for the Sacramento, or do this when I'm starting on broke horses. I do a lot of this type of work. You know, mainly because I don't want anything to go wrong when I get on their back. I want it to be safe. I want the horse to be comfortable more than anything else. So, you know, when starting on broke horses, I do a lot of stress management. Teach them how to deal and handle all kinds of different situations before I ever get on their back. Good boy. Good. So in a minute we'll have them change direction, go the other way. No, keep going. We're not done yet. Good boy. Again, the most severe problems come from stress. And like I was saying earlier, the greatest stressor in the world is fear. You know, a lot of things cause stress. You know, worrying about bills, that's a fear thing. You know, the unknown, that's another fear thing. Good boy. Good. So since it was the greatest stressor there is, that's what we want to work on teaching the horses to deal with, is their fears. A lot of horses can deal with one thing happening, and then again in our DVDs, we show you how to start adding in multiple things at the same time. And we've got a cool little part in there about overhangs, teaching horses how to go under stuff, over stuff, dragging stuff, everything I can think of. Good boy. So I'm going to go ahead and say ho, ho, hey, ho. I'm going to slide the tarp back up. Now, well, normally I'd bring the tarp all the way back with me when I change sides, because I haven't done it on that side yet, but we've done that with him already. last couple of days, and he's done real well with it. So this time, on him, you know, you kind of gotta, there you go, come on, trot, good boy. So normally I'd bring the tarp all the way back, but we've been doing this with him for the last couple of days, and he's done real well. Plus there's other exercises I want to go on to that I haven't done with this horse yet. I want to make sure he's still, you know, somewhat okay with these exercises. This one he's a little worried, so I'm not even going to, you know, hit the tarp with the whip. I'm going to let him go ahead and get used to it and learn how to deal with this amount of stress. As he starts learning how to deal with the small stressors, you can start building the stressors up and up and up, you know. When I'm training for the Sacramento Mounted Police, we'll have the police car in the center of the ring with the lights and sirens on. On one end of the arena is an officer with a .45 blank pistol he's firing off. On the other side of the ring is another officer lighting off fireworks, firecrackers and smoke and all kinds of stuff. On the other side of the arena there's we got 30 volunteers that come in, and they act like angry protesters and start rioting. And with all of those distractions going on at the same time, the horse has to be able to walk, trot, and canter through it in a calm, relaxed manner. And so, you know, the protesters will run up to the horse and, you know, bump the horse in the shoulder, and they'll be throwing, you know, nothing that's going to hurt the horse, because we use Nerf balls and a lot of those Nerf noodles, but they'll be throwing stuff like that at the horse, and the horse has to maintain control the whole entire time. Good boy. Good. So he's doing a lot better on this side. So in the beginning, you know, just take the whip and you can start hitting it just really lightly. You don't have to be smacking it real hard. Just go really light and see what he does. If he can't handle that, then, you know, go even lighter until he's able to, you know, control that amount of stress. And then you can start hitting it harder and harder and harder. And if he starts, you know, getting out of control, if he starts looking like he's panicking, you could always back off a little bit and say, okay, what about this now? Instead of that. Good boy. And again, this is good for you can use this exercise in all your warm-up. You know, I know I like, especially if I have a lot of young horses in training, which I do this year. I got a lot of 3-year-olds starting them under saddle, and I lunge them in the round pen or out in the arena, and I do this exercise with every one of my training horses at home. You know, whether they know it or not, whether they're good at it and don't care or not, I use it anyways. Good. Good boy. Good. Good, so we'll let them go around another, you know, 2 or 3 times here, then we'll go on to the next exercise. Good boy. Good. And we can start probably hitting a little bit harder now. Good. 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 Good for you. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and say ho. Ho. So you need to learn how to stop a little bit softer. So the next exercise involves 2 lunge lines. Since I don't, you know, I won't tie anything to this lunge line. Just brought another one with us. Good boy. Alright. Okay, so next, he stays there. I'm going to take the end of the lunge line that does not have a buckle tied to it. This is going to be the soft end. I'm going to tie it around this one. Tie it around about midway on the tarp. I'm going to get both lunge lines ready. Oh, stay there. Good, switch hands. Okay. Good boy, stay right there. No, I don't want him up to me. It's not a, you know, not a lab. Back him up. Okay. Back up. There you go. Good. Right there is fine. So I've got both these ready. I'm going to take the tarp. Nope. Back up. And the tarp, I'm just going to start tossing it towards him a little bit. Nope. Nope, stop there. He starts to move, it's not a moving exercise, so I'll just stop him. And then once he stops, I'll start again. So just take, nope. Nope, right there. Not a moving exercise, good boy. Nope. Stay there. And we'll just keep working on this for a little bit now.
Turn your rubber thing on top of the milk jar there, make sure it's open.
Good boy. And this exercise, is pretty good as far as, you know, right now, we're just kind of sacking out from the ground as we can throw stuff around them. It's also great for spook training. You know, be careful not to hit the horse in the face with it, but you want to get it all around his body, right in back of him right there. Here in a minute, we'll get it underneath him. Good boy. And all he just needs to understand is that's why I'm sitting there, that's why I'm standing there. Good boy. Stay right there. Next, you can start taking the tarp and lightly throwing it on his sides, onto his back. Good boy. And these are all things he really needs to get good at. Go underneath him. Good. Ho. Good boy. Good. Good boy. Ho. Hey. Nope. Stay there. He's thoroughbred. He's made the move.
Wow, my shirt doesn't.
He was a quarter horse. He'd already had it.
Mine doesn't.
Alright. Good boy. Start going towards the front legs a little bit. Ho. 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 Make sure he's alright with this. Good boy. Take it, you know, spook training and sacking out at the same time as you throw it into his shoulders. Good boy.
I keep talking
Good.
and my
Good
hand goes like that.
So now he's standing still to kind of take advantage of this.
I don't
Another one you could do. Straighten out your head. Nope. Stop there. Stop. Oh. You go all the way over the top of them. Good. And drag the tarp back. Good boy. Good. You know, in time, it's not going to happen today, but in time he'd learn how to stand still and take all this. Good boy. Good for you. Stay there. Good, right behind him. So again, you know, if he was a kicking horse, which he was kicking out a little bit yesterday, this would be an excellent exercise for your kicking horses. Good. Now he's getting a little nervous, so we found, you know, behind him is where it's going on at. So we're going to work on that a little bit. You know, when you're doing these exercises at home, you know, be careful. Don't get kicked. Stay out of kicking range. Stay out of striking range. Good boy. Good boy. Good for you. Nope. Good. Good. Drag it over the center of his back. Again, I do this with a lot of my unbroke horses before I ever get on them. Good boy. Good. So he's doing a little bit better now. We're going to go back to his, where his hind legs were, or his hind legs, where he was having a little bit of the problem. There, he had a little bit of a problem with the rope touch. Don't come up to me. Good. So we'll get back there again. Good. Another exercise. Same thing, but see there, you know, start going way up in the air and letting it drop down beside him. This is going in and out of his blind spot. You know, a lot of horses get a little nervous or get scared, start stressing a little bit when things go in and out of their blind spots. Because first they see it, then they don't, then they see it again. Nope. Good boy. Well, stay here. Good. Okay, now if he wants to move on this next exercise, he can go ahead and start moving around a little bit. Good. Then we'll go ahead and move. Good boy. And while he's trotting around a little bit, go ahead and get set back up again. Nope. Come on. There we go. On this next exercise, you can take your rope. I'm going to go ahead and shorten them up a little bit. So you can take it and come on. There you got it. Okay. Let him go to the bathroom.
Thanks.
And okay, so now as he's moving, I take this tarp and throw it right in front of him. That made him a little nervous. You know, sometimes things pop out of nowhere. Right?
Oh my god.
Pop out of nowhere as we're doing this kind of stuff, and you want to do it at walk, trot, canter. Wonderful.
Okay.
And now you want to, so you just don't want to do it at standstill, you want to do it at walk, trot, and canter.
Why is it raining so hard?
Do it at all the gait. As the horse, you know, as they go forward a little bit more, you know, there's a little bit more emotional in it than as they're at a standstill. Good boy. Keep going. Good boy. Good for you. Well, let's keep practicing this for a little bit. Good boy. Good. Good boy. And right there. Good. Right there. Good. A little bit behind you. Always do this at a safe distance, you know. Don't want to, like I said, there's no reason getting kicked or stepped on or struck. Good boy. And all this is doing, again, is teaching the horses how to deal with stress. Teaching them how to maintain control, even though it's something they may be a little nervous of or scared of. Some horses have real severe anxieties going on. If they do, you know, you'd go a little bit slower with them. There's one horse, and I've never seen a horse this scared before. I got him back in January to start under saddle, and the first time I was able to throw a leg on him was halfway through April. So we spent 4.5 months with this horse, and normally when we get horses in for training, they have 3 or 4, you know, issues going on, and well, this horse had about 50 going on. And it took a while, good boy, to be able to get on him, but so some horses go slower than others. Good. Toss it up on his bottom there. Good boy. Good. Good boy. If you're doing these exercises at another facility, be careful. You don't want to spook somebody else's horse. You know, the horses may not be as well trained. Keep moving. There you go. As you think they should be. You wouldn't want to get somebody else hurt. Good boy. Well, good for you. Yeah. Good. Keep walking. Yeah. It's a lot easier to do some of this with the horse walking than it is trotting. Yeah, you can drag the tarp around a little bit, so if you got a little nervous, you could always slide it off, you know. So that'd be something else you'd need to work on. You saw the stress level came up a little bit as you really started moving forward. So all I did was let it slide off. Nothing's ever attached to the horse. Good boy. And what I mean is stuff that's going to really, you know, make them nervous or scared, where if they drag it off, they're going to go through a gate or through a fence or something. You know, we wouldn't want that to happen. I wouldn't want this horse going through the round pen. That's not the point of this lesson. The point of this lesson is to teach him how to control himself if situations, events, and people make excessive demands on him. You know, and if this thoroughbred can do this, you know, all your quarter horses at home should have no problem with it. Good boy. Got to keep moving now. You know, one exercise that builds on the next in all these lessons. Good boy. Good. Good for you. Good. I'll just leave it there for a minute. He's carrying around on his bottom. Yeah. So compared to how he was yesterday morning, you know, he's improved by a lot. Good. Right there. You know, again, if he was a kicking horse, that'd be really good for a kicking horse to get him out of kicking. I don't need to be within, you know, 20 feet of him. Good boy. Now if he wants to stand still again, that's fine. Good boy. Good. And good boy. So he still had a little bit of a problem with it touching his hind leg. Right down by the hoof, it fell off. Good boy. Good for you. All right. Does anybody have any questions? So, all right. Yeah.
But that works the same with stuff dragging on the ground?
It does, but the stuff dragging on the ground comes in, you know, a couple more exercises. And normally I'd have a saddle on their back, assuming they know what a saddle is. Right. If they didn't, I'd make sure they're comfortable with the saddle on their back. I'll put the saddle on their back. This lunge line is going to loop around the saddle horn right here. Tarp's going to be in the front, in the center of me. And as he starts dragging it, it's going to start making, you know, little small circles around me. As he gets better, then I'll move it towards him. If anything ever went wrong, I just drop the lunge line. It's going to go through the saddle horn because it's only looped there. It's not tied there, and the wreck's over with. You know, much more than if you try to tie it there and the horse goes through the side of a round pen or the side of an arena or something like that, then like I said, they'll check out and never come back. You know, they're not going to want to have anything to do with you because you just did something that was too much pressure for them at that time. You know, after the stress management program, they should be able to handle just about anything that comes their way. You know, and it's not something that you have to train on every day. There are exercises, get off me. There are exercises that I go through with horse, you know, in my training horses, and I suggest that my clients keep going through those exercises from time to time. But I just showed you a bunch of exercises you can do as you're warming your horses up, like with the tarp that's draped over the lunge line, and you know, lunging around in a circle. You know, sometimes that's all you need to do. Good boy. Back up. Does that help? Okay. Anybody else?
What if the cribbing stems from pain or boredom?
Oh, the boredom, this will also teach horses how to deal with boredom, because they're learning how to deal with stress. Stress is stress. If they're in pain, I say get rid of the pain. Have a veterinarian look at your horse. You know, try to keep your horse as comfortable as possible. If he's workable and you can still train him, then I'd start doing these programs, because this program will also help horses that are in pain how to deal with stress. Because you know, I won't use pain in any method I do to teach horses how to deal with stress or anything I do. The only time I've gone after horses is if, you know, I was pretty convinced that I was going, hey, don't bite me. That if I was 6 feet underground. One of those times was I was teaching the mare how to get to the bit from the ground, and she opened her mouth and wrapped it around my rib cage. And so, I mean, I had saws with my hand at the time and went after her pretty hard with it until she let go. But I was pretty convinced when she bit down, she's going to do a lot more than just break my ribs. You know, she probably would have lacerated my liver, did some kidney damage, you know, whatever. So if I think my life is in danger, then, you know, I'll do whatever I have to, but I won't use, you know, use pain as a training method. Anybody else?
Did you find with him when you first started with him that, did you find with him when you first started working with him that he would like get worried and like kind of freak out a bit? He did the first day. He's a lot, even though he was throwing his head up and baring his teeth a little bit, pawing out a little bit. That was 10 times worse yesterday morning. How old is he?
He's 3-year-old.
Yeah.
So, you know, as a, you know, just the couple we did, and today, he's already starting to learn how to deal with the stress. He's starting to come around. He's learning how to deal with it. No, I live in California.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
So I'm all, yeah, I flew up here. Normally when I go to expos and I do the demos, I call back and try to find the type of horse I am looking for.
If you have a stall weaver, would you be sacking it out? Is that
Oh yeah.
what you would do? That should help with the stall.
Yeah, well we have the DVDs at the booth and everything on how to solve all these problems, stall walking, weaving, cribbing, and a lot of your ground and saddle issues at the same time.
Now I missed the beginning. Is this the beginning of your program?
This is the beginning of the program.
Okay, so this is for any vice?
This is for any vice. Yeah,
Vice?
yeah. Stable vice. You can see where it fixed a lot of ground problems, saddle problems. In the books, DVDs, we do have saddle problems on there, such as barn, buddy sour, spooky behavior, multiple things going on around the horse at the same time, and teaching them how to deal with those types of situations. Don't you bite me. I need to put a little...
I have one at home that the guy
whatever reason he decided he was going to train them, and to sack them out, he tried a plastic bag to his halters and this for 3 years.
Yeah. The danger that could happen in that, though, again, is some horses will get so scared that they start running blind. And when they run blind, they don't see what's in front of them. They just keep going right through fences, through rails, and everything else.
I don't think that got to that point.
Yeah.
But I know the first time I was really broke when I bought him, and when I got him going, not too bad. And I mean, I just took my hat off and pushed his eyes away by his ears. And,
Right.
I mean, oh, there's something the matter. So this would help that situation.
Oh yeah, this would help all your situations. Head shyness, because even dropping the horse's head during head and ear shyness, the fear on head shyness is something above or on the horse's head. That's it. When you start dropping their head, all of a sudden you're above their head. So when they see that, then you know, if he was head shy, once I got him, yeah. But yeah, these exercises would help. Yeah, absolutely. Anything to help the horse control stress, and you know, during stressful levels.
He wants to, but he's too afraid.
Right. Again, I start very small with my stress levels, and as the horse improves, I start increasing the stress. But again, like I said earlier, I want that emotion there. I have to have that emotion there. If the emotion isn't there, I can't train the horse on how to deal with it. So I got to have that emotion, and then as that emotion comes out, then I start teaching the horse how to deal with it. You want to come get the horse? All right, cool. Anybody else?